Well, hello, everybody. Um, it's just me, and I have to tell you, this is pre-recorded because Melody and I are at her grandson and my, I'm not sure, nephew, I guess, grandnephew. We are at his fourth birthday party, and his adoption is finally, after years, is finally final. So he's been part of the family for a long time, for 2 years, but now he's officially part of the family, and nobody can take him away. So we're all very glad that that has occurred. He's the sweetest little kid, and we're all going to be up there for his birthday party. So, my apologies that we had to miss the show, but I'm sure you would have done the same thing. So, it's just me out here. I was going to record this a little earlier. It's about almost midnight, but I was having technical difficulties with my webcam. Turned out that there were two or three updates done by Windows, by the company that makes the webcam, by Chrome, and these updates were arguing with each other. But I finally got it fixed. You'll notice it's still not focusing real swell. That's a problem that I really wish they would fix. But I'm glad that the webcam is working, because except for the autofocus, I really like it. It's been pretty good, but just that little problem. But anyway, I've got it fixed. It does, at least currently, it is working. It was disconnecting from the browser, which was really annoying, because I'd be right in the middle of recording something, and all of a sudden it'd go and unhook. Well, what I wanted to talk to you about is Facebook. This is supposed to be a entertainment slash paranormal slash UFO slash podcast. And Facebook is part of the entertainment industry, I would say, social media. But I'll tell you, I am very disappointed with Facebook in all of these scams, fraudulent ads that they are not only allowing but promoting on their site. I think that law enforcement should come have a talk with Mark Zuckerberg, because I think he's breaking the law. I'm sure if you are on Facebook anytime at all, you've seen these things. What these companies will do, I'm not going to say what country they're from, because I'm not sure where they're coming from. I know where some of them are coming from, and that's China. But not all of them. Some of them are coming out of other countries for the most part, but not all China, but a significant portion of it, but not all of them. But what you'll see is some company. For instance, there was a French company that made this robot. And it's really cool. You've probably seen the videos of it dancing and climbing up a ladder and, really cool stuff. And they would put an ad on Facebook. They usually would put like 20 ads under 20 different company names, all with the same video that they stole from this French company that made the robot, and they would pretend to be the company that makes this robot, and they would offer you this robot for like $39. Now, this robot actually sells for between $5,000 and $8,000, depending on the version of the robot you buy. It's very cool, but it's not $39. And this was not the only type of this ad. There was a tank that came out of, I think it was Korea, South Korea, I believe. And this man made this really cool looking tank, and they stole that video and pretended to be selling the tank, which I think he made a few of them and he sold them for $5,000 a piece. And of course they were selling them for $49. And then there was a company that made a skip loader, which is like a piece of construction equipment. It was radio controlled. It was very cool, big, and it was something that sold for like 1,500 pounds. I think it was in England. And, you know, again, it was $39 or $49. And there was actually a car on there that they advertised as coming from Sam's Club. And I spoke to the people at Sam's Club. They were real thrilled about that either, I'll tell you. I tried to police these ads. You'll see, if you get on Facebook and you see these ads, you'll see a lot of posts from me. You know, look up my name on the podcast. You can look on Facebook and you'll see a lot of posts from me on these phony things, alerting people to what's going on. A lot of these, like with that robot, I think the company that made it was RAO, something like that. And if you watch the video, they actually showed the name of the company on the box. That's how I found out what it was and how much it was. And that's what I usually do. Or I'll do a Google image search and I'll come up with, where this product is actually coming from. It's just terrible. Recently, someone created a model of the Stargate from the Stargate TV show, and the buttons all moved on the Stargate, and it spun around, and it was like a mirrored thing in the middle. And I mean, it was a beautiful model, but it was hand built by this guy, and 3D printed, and there was no company making these and selling them. And they were claiming to be selling them for $59. So if you put some kind of cool video of something, somebody's going to steal it and pretend to be selling them. So, and it's just terrible. And I report, every time I see one of these things, I report it to Facebook. And they don't do anything about it. I've never seen one of them taken down. Because I get back on there for days and I see these ads still playing over and over and over. And so Facebook is not paying any attention to my notifying them that this fraudulent activity is occurring. I call them out, and it isn't just them anymore. Here, all right, let me tell you a little something you may not know. There are companies that create ad campaigns on social media for different types of companies. For instance, these people that are raffling off cars and trucks, very expensive cars and trucks. And as I said, there's a clearinghouse. This company creates all these ads for these companies, and they run their ad campaign for them. and I forget the name of the company. I knew at one time I posted some information about it, but and you're starting to see these when they hit Facebook, they hit in hordes of ads from similar companies. For instance, right now they're running these get-rich-quick schemes. You know, about drop shipping. Okay, here's what drop shipping is. Drop shipping is you find a company that makes a product, and what that company does is they wholesale the product rather than selling it to the public. They sell it to retailers. And the retailers buy the product for $2, $3 and then sell it for $6 or $8 or $10. And they make a profit. The problem is that most of these resellers, and by drop shipping, here's what happens. Okay, you get on Amazon, you make yourself an Amazon store, and you're selling the products from your drop shipper. So you sell one, say coffee mugs. You sell a coffee mug. Well, you never see this coffee mug. The coffee mug is still at the company that made it. And they package it up. They ship it to your customer. They put your label on it so it looks like it's coming from you. And it's a time-tested, traditional method of doing business. And it's fine. The problem is, though, is there's so many companies selling these items that you're competing against 20,000 people selling the same coffee mug. So you start beating each other over the head price-wise. You have to, because you're not gonna come up with a unique item unless you make it yourself. That's the best way to do it, is if you can produce something yourself, then nobody else is going to be selling the exact same thing. Although, even with that, if somebody sees something you're making and you're selling them and you're successful selling them, somebody else is going to steal it. They'll just reproduce whatever it is you're making. As long as it looks the same in the picture, that's all that counts. It doesn't have to be as good a quality because they don't really care. They're not looking for repeat customers. That's where, if you're making a good product, that's where you'll have continued success, is you're producing something that people are going to want to buy another one of because it's good. It's a good thing. And that's the companies that last and that survive over the long haul. That's what they're doing. They're making a product that is good, which is what used to happen here in America. You used to have companies that made good stuff. Craftsman. Everybody bought Craftsman tools because you knew it was going to be a good wrench, or it was going to be a good socket, or whatever it was. It was good. It was well made, a good product. And if one of them broke, you could get another one. They'd give you one for free. And that was something that used to be there. Unfortunately, Sears has sold Craftsman to Stanley. Now, Stanley makes a good tool. I mean, they're not junk. But it's just not the same. Sears is about ready to go out of business, I'm afraid, from the looks of things. So, what's funny is Sears could have been Amazon. They were set up, if they had had the right people in place to get the future, they could have been Amazon before Amazon. because Sears, along with IBM, owned one of the very first internet companies, which was Prodigy. You may not have heard of Prodigy. Prodigy was before AOL. They were big. I had Prodigy. It was a good company, and there was a lot of content exclusive to Prodigy. There were a lot of toy groups, bulletin boards, and so forth. They used to call them, and it wasn't on the internet per se. It was all contained within Prodigy, and it was good. It was safer that way. You didn't have as much junk and trolls and so forth. Those that remember Prodigy will remember that. And Sears and IBM owned it. And Sears still had the Sears catalog. And if you're my age, you remember the Sears catalog. You could buy anything. You could buy a motorcycle. You could buy a car. You could buy houses. You could buy furniture. Refrigerators. Anything you could buy in the Sears catalog. And if Sears had taken that online and created an online catalog, which is all Amazon is their Sears catalog online. If Sears had done it, Sears would be the biggest retailer in the world right now, instead of almost gone. So just goes to show you, you can have a great idea at the wrong time. And that's what happened. Because, like I said, they're almost gone. It's going to be a different age. And now, when Sears was advertising in the catalog, you could trust Sears. You could trust that what they sent you was going to be what there was a picture of. It wasn't going to be some fraudulent crap that they were going to send you. But I'll tell you, unless I knew the company, I wouldn't buy anything on Facebook. If you buy anything from an ad on Facebook, and you can't even trust if you know the name, because there was a company selling stuff under the Neiman Marcus name on Facebook, and it wasn't Neiman Marcus. It was some other company. And they were using the name Neiman Marcus. Now, it was gone pretty fast, because I think Neiman Marcus raised hell with Facebook. I mean, that's what you've got to have to protect yourself. You've got to have attorneys. You've got to have an attorney to send Facebook a notification that, hey, you better stop this, or we're going to see you in court. That's what it takes. If you haven't got the muscle, the legal muscle, to do that, you're dead. That's why Disney can protect itself. They have the legal muscle to make sure you don't mess with their product. Because if you do, you're going to hear from Walt Disney, what the company. You're going to hear from Walt, I don't think, but you're going to hear from the company. One time, I'll tell you a story. I used to sell on eBay. I don't anymore. It's just gotten to be too big a hassle. So I just don't do it anymore. Not worth the time. And I had these things called movie trailers. And it was a small roll, about yay big, of 35 millimeter film showing a trailer for a future movie that they were going to show at the theater. And they used to just dispose of them when they were done. And sometimes people would grab them and save a box of them. And I picked up a box of these things at a swap meet. So I put them on eBay. And I think I was selling them for a couple of dollars because I didn't hardly pay anything for them. So I had them on there for a couple of bucks. Well, one of them I put on there was for a movie called The Joy Luck Club. Well, that was the No Joy Luck Club for me because I got a letter. It was called a cease and desist letter from the law firm for the Walt Disney Company telling me that that movie trailer belonged to Walt Disney and Company and that I had better stop selling it and I had better remove the ad from eBay or I was going to hear from them again. So I did. I disposed of those and they all went bye-bye, even the ones that weren't Disney. And again, this wasn't Disney, but it was Warner Brothers. A while later, I had purchased some replicas of the Maltese Falcon from the movie of that name. And they had, this company had made these replicas and it had a certificate of authenticity. And well, what I didn't know is they did not have permission from Warner Brothers to make these things. So I got a cease and desist letter from Warner Brothers. So I ended up throwing these in the trash. I didn't pay very much for them, but I think I kept one. I've got it around here somewhere. I had it out on my mantle for a while, but got all dusty and dirty. So I just threw it in a box and the rest of them I threw away. But that's the kind of stuff you would up. But that's what you need. You need the legal muscle to keep people from messing with your product. If you haven't got that, this kind of stuff, what goes on Facebook, is what's going to happen to you. If you make a good product, somebody is going to either actually duplicate your product and sell it, or they're going to make something that looks like your product and sells it, and then it hurts you because these people don't know it isn't you doing it, especially if they use your name, which, if you're a little company, you haven't got the money to go after eBay, or not eBay, after Facebook. You haven't got the kind of money to do that. And Facebook is not taking this stuff down, which means they don't really care. If they did care, they would police this stuff. Don't tell me Facebook can't do it. Facebook makes hundreds of millions of dollars a month. If Facebook can police everything everybody says, like they politically, if they can say, oh, that's not true, and fact check everything you say, then they could look into these fraudulent videos and take them down. So, so don't tell me that Facebook can't do it, because they could do it if they cared. They don't care. These people are out there ripping off their customers, and Facebook isn't doing a thing about it. What does it? Facebook put warnings out there and tell you, say, hey, you want to be careful when you see these ads. Do a little checking and see if it's true before you send these guys any money. And the same thing with these get-rich-quick schemes. There's this lady that's got a bunch of them out there, and she has like 10,000 members of her group all selling the same thing. And I'm sorry, but That's not going to work. It's just not a viable business model. If you want to sell something, it needs to be something unique. It needs to be something that nobody can get from any place except for you. Or you're going to have to be cheaper than everybody else. And sooner or later, if you are having price wars with these other people, it's going to get down to the point where you don't make any money. And that's not a viable business model either. So, here, okay, these flashlights. You've probably seen these before. They sell these at the 99-cent store. And, well, the 99-cent store isn't really the 99-cent store anymore. But these things sell for somewhere in the neighborhood of $1. Okay? They're not making a whole lot of profit on this. Because this has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 light bulbs in it. It's got a plastic lens. It's got a metal case. It's got a little thing here. And you can't tell me that this costs much less than $1 to make. So somebody is losing money on these things. Because these are made in China. They have to be put on a boat in boxes of 144, which is a gross, and mailed over here, shipped over here, probably by ship, because that's the cheapest way. And then the 99-cent store needs to make a profit, so they can't pay $1 for this. They're probably paying 50 cents for this, which means that this thing can't cost much more than 20 cents or so to make and ship over here in order for them to make any profit. So this is what you run into. You run into a price war. Because if you're making these things and selling them, probably when you first started selling them, you could probably sell them for $3. Because they were nice, they were small little flashlights, they were very bright. You know, nobody else was making them, so hey, you could probably get $3 for them. But then 10 or 12 other companies saw what you were making, and they tooled up and they started spitting them out. So company B says, well, he's selling them for $3. We're going to sell them for $2. And then, of course, company C says, well, you know, these only cost us 15 cents to make, so we're going to sell them for $1. And it just keeps going on like that until eventually there is such a tiny little profit margin on the product that 9 of the companies that were making them go out of business. And there's maybe 1 or 2 left making them, and they're just barely scraping by. So that's what's going on. And that's what's going on with these drop shippers. It's what's going on with all these get-rich-quick people on the internet. Look, I'm telling you, there's no way to get rich quick. None of these people you see on there that have these wonderful programs, and they look, I got involved when I was a kid in this company. I'm not going to say the name of the company, but It was a nutritional supplement company, and no, it's not the one you're thinking of. It was one you probably never heard of. And I went to the Red Lion Inn, and they had this food out there in this wonderful hall, and they showed a movie, and they had all these people come up and tell you how they were making millions of dollars. Sorry, I'm trying to get my camera to focus. I don't know why it's not focusing, but anyway, I'm sorry, I'm fuzzy. But about how they're making millions of dollars selling these products. And I had a very good friend of mine, and he bought $10,000 worth of these products because you got them real cheap when you bought that much. But then the problem is you had to sell this stuff, and it sold for a high price, and they got pissed off if you sold it. You had to sell it for that price. If you didn't, you got in trouble. So he ended up with the stuff all rotting in his garage, and he lost almost all of that $10,000 because you never got any repeat sales. Somebody would try it, and like, and they'd buy it once, and that was it. And so you'd sell a bottle of this stuff for $30, and you might sell 10 of them, so you make, $300, but that's it. And the rest of the stuff, it wouldn't keep forever. It was a food-based supplement, so pretty soon he lost his $10,000. And of course, they made him feel like he was a really smart guy when he originally spent the $10,000. They brought him up on stage and told everybody how he was going to be a millionaire and he was going to have his own airplane. I don't know what's going on here. I am terribly sorry. Come on. All right, I'll tell you. This is an Anker, Anker webcam. So before you go buying an Anker webcam, pay attention to the focus problem I'm having here. I'm looking for a new webcam. If anybody has a good idea about that, let me know. But anyway, so I have some experience with these get-rich-quick schemes. Because there's tons of companies that Nature Light, used to be Amway. Now, Amway had some good products. They did. They had the spray shoe polish that was really good. I mean, that was good stuff. So they actually had some very good products. And Tupperware, same thing. You couldn't buy it at the store. You had to go to the Tupperware parties, and that's how you got your Tupperware. Now, Tupperware is going out of business. I don't know if any of you heard that. They're on their way out. There will be no more Tupperware. So even the old companies just aren't making it anymore. But I'm just telling you that please don't spend your money on these get-rich-quick schemes. You have to pay $2,000 to have access to these suppliers of these products. You don't need to pay $2,000 to get access to. If you don't mind dealing with the Chinese company, check out Alibaba. There's tons of stuff you can buy. Buy by the case and sell it. Try that. They have thousands of products. Find something that nobody else is doing right now. That's the thing to do. Get on eBay. Get on Amazon. Find a good product and do a search. And see how many people are selling that product. If they're not selling it, hey, take a shot at it. Set yourself up an Amazon store. Try selling the product. You know, another thing with these get rich quick schemes, one of these people had so many people trying to sell the one product that they were pushing that Amazon finally said, nah, we've got enough of that product. We don't need any more of that product. And they wouldn't let you have an Amazon store selling that because they had enough. Because it starts hurting them, starts hurting their profit margin, because all these different Amazon stores, they look at each other and they say, oh, well, we're going to have to cut our price. And when they cut their price, Amazon starts losing money. Because Amazon gets a little chunk of that, whatever you sell. And so if you have to reduce your price, Amazon's going to lose money. And Amazon's not going to lose money, not for long. So if you're selling a product on there and lots of other people are selling the same product, you're not going to be on Amazon very long. So just realize that. Like I said, there's lots of ways you can make money, make a unique product. Find something nobody else is doing and make one. If you're artistic, make something artistic and sell it. As long as the problem with making homemade stuff is people are used to buying machine-made Chinese products that look similar and that can be sold for a quarter, and it's taken you a whole day to make it, so you're not going to make any money doing that. Somebody can make something that looks mostly like what you're making and sell it for a quarter, you're not going to make any money. So just keep that in mind. Whatever it is you're thinking about making, do a search and see, take a picture of one of them and do a Google image search. See if somebody's making something that looks like it. Because if they are, you need to think about something else, because that's not going to work. It's not going to be a viable business model. That's what you have to think of. You have to think of a viable business model. And I'll tell you, look, I'm not selling stuff anymore. I got to the age where I just don't feel like pursuing it. So I work for somebody else. I have the skill they need. They pay me well. You can see the name behind me. That's where I work. And I'm perfectly happy doing that. I don't have to worry about shipping things, and that's what's tough nowadays. There was a time when eBay first started, and I was on eBay from 1998 for about 10 years. I was on eBay. But back then, I kept all of my stuff under $10, because if you sold it for under $10, the eBay fee was a quarter. And I could ship it for a couple of bucks. So I could make pretty good money selling, something I bought at a garage sale, or swap meet, or somebody's old toys. That's what I've dealt in most of the time. And I would do pretty well. I made good money. And but you can't do it anymore. It's not a viable business model anymore, because the shipping has gone through the ceiling, and what used to cost me $2 to ship, $20 to ship. Because if you're going to have a good feedback on eBay, which I always had very close to 100%. Most of the time, I was right at 100% because I treated my customers well, and that's important. I shipped it. I'll tell you another story. um, I sold some very expensive, rare action figures at a convention, a Star Trek convention. And one of them I sold for $800 and one I sold for $300. So I had $1,100 and I told the guy I'd ship them for free since he paid top dollar for them. And he was in South Carolina. And he had to fly out. So I had auctioned them off at the show. And the auction wasn't going to end until after he had to leave. And he was the winning bid. So I told him I would ship them to him. So I took each action figure. I wrapped it in a garbage bag. I put it in another garbage bag. I put it in a box. I wrapped the box in a garbage bag. I wrapped it with tape, duct tape. I then took the other action figure and did the same thing with that. Double wrapped it in trash bags, put it in a box, wrapped that in a trash bag, and wrapped it with duct tape. I put both of those boxes in a bigger box, filled it with styrofoam peanuts, wrapped that box with clear tape, making it waterproof, put a label on it, and I shipped it to him in South Carolina. I got a email from the gentleman, and he told me that a hurricane had hit where he lived, but right about the time that he was expecting the package to get there. So he said he came home. He said his front yard was underwater, and he expected the package to be destroyed. So he got there, and my box was floating in the front yard. It was waterproof. He said that it had obviously been battered by the hurricane. It was floating in the water. He got to somewhere where it was dry, opened it up, and the action figures were still pristine, in perfect condition. That's how I kept my feedback at 100%, by doing things like that. He gave me the most glowing review on eBay because of that. Because I went to that extreme to make sure my customer was satisfied. And that's the kind of thing on eBay, it's the kind of thing that will make the difference between you and somebody else. You know, if you show your customers that you're going to go to that extreme to make them happy, they'll do business with you, and they'll come back, and they'll keep doing business with you. That's what you've got to do in this day and age to be successful. So, take some of the, stay away from eBay advertisers unless you know them. So some of the ones that, there's a company called Owl's Matrix. They're a Chinese company. They make these designer Hawaiian shirts. I'm sure you've seen all of these different ads on there. A lot of them are using pictures from Owl's Matrix. And those shirts are nothing like the pictures. You get one and you're going to be very sadly disappointed. If you want some of those products, go to Owl's Matrix. Check them out. They take a long time to ship. You know, you're getting something from the other side of the planet. It's going to take time before you're going to get it. So expect the delivery to take time, because it's going to. Pardon me for a second. But, and their sizes run a little small. So order a size bigger than you usually do. But I'll tell you, they make a good product. Now, you can't always trust somebody to stay good. For instance, as I was talking about my non-focusing webcam here, Anchor. I hate this. I'm sorry. I really am sorry about this. Come on, camera. But Anchor, I've bought from them for many years. They make good cables. They make good batteries. I have a very good flashlight from Anchor that I'm very pleased with. I used to be very pleased with their headphones, but I had 2 sets that broke in half. And what they did to me, the first one I bought broke in half. I put a negative review on Amazon, and Anchor contacted me and sent me a new pair of headphones. So I was like, hey, that's all right. The new pair of headphones they sent me lasted about 6 months, and they broke in half. So I contacted Anchor, and I said, hey, this new set you sent me. And they said, sorry, the warranty goes back to the original shipment of the first set. So we ain't replacing these. And it's their fault. Don't buy Anchor headphones. The plastic is defective on their headphones, and they shatter. You get on there and read the reviews. You'll see 10 or 12 reviews where they broke completely in half. What people do if they buy one, they wrap them in duct tape to keep them from breaking. But it doesn't help. Eventually they break, and there's nothing you can do about it. So I buy these ones called Impal. That's what I do with them. Here they are. These. Not nearly as good a sound. And the batteries last about a year. Now, these are $39. And you can't get them on Amazon anymore. They stopped selling them on Amazon. But you can go to MPOW. I think it's 10X MPOW. And you can still get them for $39. And they're durable. I've never had a pair break on me. The batteries quit. Then there's nothing you can do. You just throw it away and buy a new pair. So I'm happier with that than I am paying $60 for a pair of Anchors that break. Now, the batteries last. I've got one that's all taped together. Although the second set I bought, I started losing the right ear. The sound goes away on the right one. The first set I bought, they worked right up until I threw them in the garbage. So, but that's something where Anchor's quality control. See, now that's what I do for a living, is quality control. I make sure that Red's cameras are good stuff, and they are. But quality control is what the problem at Anchor is, because somebody is not paying attention to quality control, because their plastic is defective. Whoever they're getting their plastic parts from, they're not properly injection molded, and they're probably heated too much, which makes the plastic brittle. But what are you going to do? But like I say, I highly recommend against buying Anker headphones. I went and buy their headphones, and I'm not real thrilled with their webcam. I mean, it's got a good image, but yet the focus is just not anything that works. You've watched this. I mean, I'm constantly getting fuzzy, and that just doesn't work for me. Now, one thing I do like about the Anker webcam, and there's not too many of them that do this, is you can narrow the field of view. When I set up on the integrated webcam on my laptop, the field of view is wider. And the problem is I use a green screen behind me. And unless I back right up against the green screen and pull the laptop up close to me, or put the camera on a tripod or something and hold it up against me, then you start seeing the wall behind the green screen, and that doesn't work out for me. But there's only 3 or 4 cameras that have the adjustable field of view. More of them should do it, because since so many people do the podcasts and things like I do, it would be in their best interest to have the adjustable field of view. They would sell more cameras. Logitech doesn't do it. In fact, Logitech advertises their wide field of view. Well, that isn't going to work for me. So I don't want a Logitech camera. And the quality, when I read the different levels of quality on these cameras, there's a lot of really bad reviews. Before you buy a webcam, read the reviews. And you have to be careful. Reviews are not trustworthy anymore. In fact, used to, if you saw a website or you saw somebody's business, you could check the search engine for reviews on that company. Oh, God, I'm sorry. For reviews on that company and find out what's really going on. But these companies are not stupid. And they have their employees, they give their employees a little stipend to get on social media and get on the internet and go to these review websites and put glowing reviews. About like on Amazon. Probably a third of the reviews on Amazon just are not viable. And the reviews, I'm sure you've seen this. You'll look on there and there's dog food. And there's reviews of dog food. Well, if you look down through all the reviews of dog food, somebody's got a review for plastic buckets. And how that happens, I don't know. But it happens all the time. They mix the reviews up. They'll put reviews on there, and if you happen to have something that's kind of similar to that product, they'll put the reviews for your product on there too. You know, say you make a webcam. They'll put reviews, and you have to carefully look through there and see what they talk about. And that's why it's good to put a picture of what you're reviewing on there. Then people can see, oh, that's not what I'm thinking about buying. That's something completely different. So just be careful with that. All right, well, I've been talking, and my throat has started to go away on me. I've been talking nonstop for almost an hour. So I hope I gave you some information that is worthwhile, that you get some use out of, and that will keep you from making a mistake on Facebook with some of these people. And, hey, don't get me wrong. There's a few out there that you can see on Facebook. There's a company a lot of people have been blasting, and it's not true. And that's the Oriental Trading Company. See, it comes back into focus when I do that for a minute. But the Oriental Trading Company, if you have ever dealt with a school, like an elementary school or do school carnivals, you're familiar with the Oriental Trading Company. They sell prizes and craft things, and or they use at schools a lot. Teachers buy from them, but they're a good company. And they've been kind of getting bashed on Facebook because of the word Oriental. It actually was owned by an American. It's actually owned by Berkshire Hathaway now, Warren Buffett. So that's who owns it. All right, so I'm going to let you go. Like I said, Melody and I are at Kenny's birthday party. So come on down and join us at the pizza place. So y'all take care of yourselves and you have a good week. And I apologize for the bad focus. I'm going to try to get another webcam, one that'll actually stay in focus. So take care of yourself and have a magical week. I'm going to try to get my Disney pass and get back to producing some Disney podcasts too. So take care of yourself, and I'm going to play us on out, and we'll see you next week, hopefully with Melody. Bye-bye.